Okay, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Honors from Off the Cuff. Today we have another really cool haul from you from the brand Haveston. A little bit about them. They're based out of the United Kingdom, basically in London. They were established back in 2015, and basically they produce high-end nano straps designed with both functionality and ergonomics in mind. And from there, they've actually sprouted off into quite a few other ventures and accessories, all of which I'm pretty sure we've reviewed pretty much everything in their catalog on the channel thus far. So if you're interested, definitely take a look at some of the past videos so you guys can get caught up on those. But here we have kind of their latest offerings, 3 different products. Basically, we have the, of course, new IVA series releases here, which are from their space-inspired line. Also, there are some novelty coasters we're going to take a look at, as well as this really cool watch strap roll, as you can see centered there. So, I actually did bring a couple watches in too for your viewing pleasure, so I could get everything mounted on there. As you can see, we do have the undone Bromaster, which essentially is my little homage to the Seamaster. I'm sorry, Speedmaster. And then there's this really cool Timex steel, the Mark 1. It actually comes on bracelet, but I put it on this strap here to kind of suit the military theme, as well as the actual finishing on the metal actually goes really well with the hardware there. And then in the back you will see my blue Seiko Alpinist on the Parnas Jubilee, resting on that really cool coaster. So that was actually kind of the surprise, I think, as far as the surprise release. Nobody really saw coming a coaster. And not only, I mean, at first I was thinking, okay, well, you know, it's got drinks, you know, it kind of goes, I guess, with the military theme. I was in the Marine Corps for a long time. Drinking is definitely a huge part of that. After all, the United States Marine Corps was born in a bar back in Tun Tavern. So that's what I initially thought, but I actually realized that it's actually a dual purpose. It's more of a resting spot for a watch, which I think is really cool. So you can see that I rested a watch on there to kind of give you an idea. Let's say you have a little bit of space on your desk or whatnot. It's nice to actually have one of these coasters available. So let's say you take off your watch, you're giving it a wipe down, whatever, you can put it down. You don't have to worry about it scratching because of the silicone construction. And then also the nice thing is that it looks cool and it kind of lets people know, hey, I'm a watch enthusiast. So with all that said, let's actually zoom out and take a closer look at everything and kind of go piece by piece. Alright, so I guess we could start probably with these really cool IVA series straps. Now essentially these were inspired by the original vintage space flown designed units that astronauts wore. So I think that's pretty cool. And they would mount different instrument and mission tools on there. But of course, what we watched nuts like to remember is that they had Speedmasters strapped to the outside of their spacesuits, which is really cool. These come in at $28.55, depending on when you watch this. Who knows where the prices will go. But they are available in 20mm and 22. This is the Redstone release, which is really nice. And essentially, again, the nice thing about Haveston is there's actually a story behind everything that they do. They don't just do aesthetics and a design language for no reason. Everything really tells a story. So for this, for the Redstone, it's basically inspired by that pioneering Redstone launch vehicle, which made America's first 6 orbital flight, which is pretty cool. And then you have the Navy-66, which actually pays tribute to the Sea helicopters that picked up the astronauts essentially out of the water, right? Because they would parachute back into the atmosphere. So really cool. And they actually go on kind of a little bit of a funky way. They are a bit thicker. So what you're going to do is you're going to remove the spring bars and bend the material around, then place the spring bars on. You're not going to slide this through. I mean, these have quite a bit of thickness to them. But the nice thing is they're actually still pretty ergonomically designed. So let's go ahead and actually get this one on wrist. Let's just give you guys a quick little demo here. So what I'll do is, from there, I'm going to just run this right through. Okay. And essentially what I want to do is about that amount of space, at least for me, is what I want to put down there as far as the stitching. So that's kind of my visual cursor to where I want to keep that. And then we have these silicone keepers, which are kind of an optional thing. But you know me, I don't have the heart to just remove them because they put them there. So what I'll do is, and then of course, depending on the script that's on there, will kind of probably depend on your placement that you're going to want. Here, the redstone does go quite down to the tail. So I'll keep one down on the tail there, then kind of equal spacing around the font. And there you go. Really nice, no nonsense strap. Obviously it does have some really cool design language going, but as far as like wearability, this definitely feels like a very utilitarian piece. It's very much for tool purposes. It's not necessarily something that was probably meant to look cool at any point, but kind of is cool, right? In that nostalgic flair, and then also of course with the military aesthetic. Now of course, now this Timex also is you know, representative of, you know, old school military field watch. And some of you are probably thinking, hey, well, why the blue strap? You know, that doesn't even match. But this has Indiglo. It actually lights blue. Well, you can't see it because the stinking studio lights, but you can see there now that that's why. The indigo, and also you'll see that it actually has standard lumen, but Indiglo blue. So I thought that was kind of a cool funky touch. And then also the finishing, obviously the bead blast finish with the bead blast finish, really nice. And then of course, because of the way the font is on here, the script, basically you would just scoot these keepers. You could actually just keep both of these on the end while you had it on your wrist. And you can see of course that spacing as far as the stitching goes is really on point there, so that you could just imagine that just hooked in here, and then you would have your Navy-66. Really, really cool, very, very handsome. So I'm really enjoying these. You know, obviously there's not too much to say. They fit well, nice and mobile, very flexible. I actually do wear my straps a little bit looser and lower on the wrists, so the you know, as far as mobility goes and how comfortable they are is a real big factor for me. If I just had them a little bit higher up on my wrist, you know, above the wrist bone, then of course I'd never have to worry about, you know, anything getting in the way as far as my range of motion. But because I do like to wear them a little bit looser and a little bit lower on the wrist, you can see that that's actually a big play for me, is how comfortable something is. So really, really digging that. So we'll move on to the next piece here. Actually, we'll save this bad boy for last. This is a real quick one. Here, the coaster, which is really, really cool. It's the Calibre Coaster. You get a set of 3, essentially, and it's really an interesting look. It's basically designed to capture that basic horological artistry. You know, it's kind of like having an exhibition case back right there on your tabletop, which I think is really fun. And then, you know, they have their own little, oh, sorry about that, I hit the tripod there. It basically gives them their own little layout of their own movement there. You can see the Calibre H.45, which, you know, looks a bit familiar there. 15 joules, I would think this almost reminds me of a popular 17 joule movement. But I think it's a really great look, and you know, it's made out of silicone. You get 3 of them. You could use them for drinks if you want to on your coffee table. Would go really great with, you know, maybe a military history book or books about watch history. So it'd be a really cool setup, but then also it's nice to just have on your desk, because now you can go ahead and just drop a watch on there, and you don't have to, obviously the leather pad here is going to protect it, but you know, you have a hardwood desk. You're going to save your desk. 2, you're going to save your watch, which is really great. So I think that's really fun to have. Honestly, they come in a 3-pack, so I'm going to have 1 at work and then, you know, 2 at home. So I think that's really, really cool and creative. Now, moving on to the main attraction here, which is basically the M-6 Strap Stowage Roll. Also, price-wise, if you guys are wondering, these come in at $16.45 for the set. Now, as far as the stowage roll, these are about 45 bucks, 45, 35, and essentially they're based on World War II military tool rolls. As somebody that was in the Marine Corps, I'll tell you, this is a very, very familiar piece of kit for me. And it's really just versatile and dummy proof, Barney style, however you want to call it. This is really great, and it reminds me of just kind of the simplicity of military equipment. So it definitely has that that design that's basically. Originally, you put all types of tools. You could put your TM manuals, whatever, and it would basically be underneath your Humvee seat or something like that, or if you're gonna have radio antennas or something like that, it'd be in the back of your pack. But you'd have a very similar layout here, very simple wraparound. I just tucked the access there, and let's actually get these a little bit out of the way here and show you guys how this works out. And one of the things I really like about this strap roll, obviously what I love about it is that you can keep a bunch of straps in it, which is super handy. But one of the real great things is it almost gives you just a really cool working station. So if you go to, let's say, a watch meet or something like that, now you have a really cool place to just kind of lay everything out. So although you might have a watch roll, and it's not going to have the kind of expansive nature here that you're going to have. Look at all this space now. You can take, basically have a workstation. You want to work on your watches, you want to switch things out, spring bars flying places, your watch, laying the bracelet down, whatever. This is kind of a cool little workstation where everything's tidy and things aren't just going to roll away. And because it's it's still canvas, which is going to be tough on the outside to protect everything, it's actually not too harsh on on metals and crystals and anything. And these have acrylic crystals, so you still don't have to worry about, like, I'm not going to be worried that that's going to totally damage that or anything. So I think that's really cool. You can see here kind of a wild assortment of a bunch of different Haveston straps from over the months and years that they've been out. I've been really keeping up. They have really great offerings. I'm a huge fan. So if you guys were interested in any of these, definitely check the full reviews on them. But I just absolutely love these straps. Super premium. And it's really great when you can take something, let's say something super simple like this gray NATO here. I love gray NATOs. This is part of their parade collection. Traditional layout, nice and thin though. Right, because they have a lot of single pass options. This has a traditional layout, so you do get the extra hardware. So you're going to get that nice symmetry while on wrist by having the hardware on both sides. And then look at that hardware though. Check out, all milled out, super nice, super clean. Gosh, then you have, of course, the super flexible, super supple nylon, and that's like one end of the spectrum. And then you have like the other end of the spectrum, obviously something super rugged and tough, or again here, more probably of a direct comparison. You're gonna have the canvas single pass, similar gorgeous modern hardware that you're going to see on the latest iterations of their straps. So really cool, and it's nice that kind of this strap kind of was the catalyst. Actually, I think these two kind of started it all. Oh, actually, this is the more modern, updated one. I guess you could, and this was probably the second gen. And oh, here we go. This is the first gen. So these two kind of started it all, which I think is really cool. You can see they've come a long way in the use of materials and colors and everything, but at the end of the day, they have something that started out as very utilitarian, but also quite premium, and they were able to kind of distill that and refine it out into multiple lines to where now you're going to have something that is very utilitarian and still very chic, but you're going to have other options, whether you want to go further refined, more something that's gonna not necessarily be 100% for just an adventure tool watch, or you can go to the complete other side where you need something super tough and rugged, or maybe something just kind of in the middle that's just very handsome. Also, a little note here, you can see the kind of other Redstone tributes kind of over previous generations. So really cool, super simple. let me just close it up for you guys so you can get a look at how this works. Basically, you close the folds here, and then you're gonna take this side, just gonna roll it almost, I mean, you could fold it if you wanted, almost, kind of little tri-fold, something like that. I don't like to take it all the way out because I can just loosen it. But I mean, it's really easy to thread through. Essentially, there you go. Then you just take that extra, you just pass it through. You can pass it back through. You can take it. You can go like here. However you want to do it. There's definitely different ways. I like to kind of leave it set up to where I can just pull and it's free. So, you know, I'll normally do something like that. Or if I want to keep it just a little bit tighter, I can do one of these numbers here, something like that. You just pull it out. But really nice. I mean, and this you can throw in your pack. You know, you can throw in a day bag. You can travel with it. You know, sometimes it's tough to bring just one watch, and sometimes you just bring a ton of different straps with you, right? So I think that's really cool. It's really a gem of a release. I really enjoyed their watch roll, which I actually thought doubled really well as kind of an EDC pouch. And again, here you could probably double this up and put other items in there. Obviously, this is mimicking tool rolls from the past, so you can put all types of kit in there and it's just going to work well. It's basically very, very secured because of the way those flaps are. And then you do have quite a bit of protection and then grip from anything, any flaps falling out, because you do have, it's a nice, you can see nice coarse texture here on that canvas. So really, really cool. So I think, again, awesome products, and another kind of cool round of releases there. You see the little Undone Bromaster getting a little bit of love. Mecha Quartz movement. Get the sweep going. Alright, so with that said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked the video, please do it like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.